Hello friends, I welcome you in lecture number 22 on complex differentiation. In previous lecture we have discussed one property of exponential function which was e raised to z1 plus z2 equal to e raised to z1 times e raised to z2 for any two complex variables z1 and z2. Today also we are going to discuss some more properties of this exponential function. So using this property we can prove that if we have minus sign here instead of plus sign, then we will have division of e raised to z1 and e raised to z2. So we want to prove this now. So we will prove in this way. We will prove that if we multiply these two, then we will obtain e raised to z1. So we start with the product of e raised to z1 minus z2 and e raised to z2. So for this we can use this property which we just discussed. Now we know that if we have e raised to z1 plus z2, then that is equal to e raised to z1 times e raised to z2. So using this property, here in the power of e we will write addition of z1 minus z2 and z2. So here I write z1 minus z2 plus z2, and now we can see this will get cancelled, and we have e raised to z1, and left hand side is e raised to z1 minus z2 times e raised to z2. Therefore we find that e raised to z1 minus z2 becomes e raised to z1 divided by e raised to z2. So using this property we are able to derive this property. And we have definition of e raised to z is, we know that z equal to x plus y, then e raised to z is given by e raised to x times cos y plus I sin y. Now suppose we take z equal to 0, then we will have x and y both 0, that is e raised to 0 is, here we put x equal to 0 and here we put y equal to 0. Cos 0 is 1, sin 0 is 0, and e raised to 0 is 1. This is for real exponential function. We know that if e raised to x is real exponential function, then its value at x equal to 0 is 1. So this is 1, this is 1 plus 0. So if we have complex exponential function, then also we have e raised to 0 equal to 1. So we will keep in mind this remark also, that this property of real exponential function is also true for complex exponential function, that is e raised to 0 is always 1. Now we prove that if we have e to the negative z, then we can rewrite it as 1 divided by e raised to z. So to prove this, we start with right hand side, and as I discussed, we can write 1 equal to e to the power 0, and here e raised to z as it is. And now using this property, e raised to z1 minus z2 equal to e raised to z1 divided by e raised to z2. So here we have this form, e raised to 0 divided by e raised to z. So using this property I can rewrite this as 0 minus z. Here we have z1 equal to 0 and z2 equal to z, and this gives me e raised to z. So we can easily prove that e raised to minus z equal to 1 divided by e raised to z, and this is true for all z. So these are simple properties of complex exponential function. Next property is e raised to z is periodic function. We know that if we have a real exponential function e raised to x, then it is not periodic. But for complex exponential function we have periodicity, and we just recall the definition of periodic function. Suppose we have some function, say f of z, then it is called periodic function if there exists some constant p such that f of z plus p equal to f of z for all z, and this constant p, if it exists, then it is called period of the function. So we will prove that for e raised to z, if we take p equal to 2 pi I, then this condition is satisfied. So we start by considering e raised to z plus 2 pi I. So this I can rewrite using that property as e raised to z times e raised to 2 pi I, using the property e raised to z1 plus z2 can be written as e raised to z1 times e raised to z2. So this is e raised to z, and now we are familiar with Euler's formula. If I have e raised to I theta, I can write it as cos theta plus I sin theta. Instead of theta we have 2 pi. If we compare this with e raised to I theta, theta is 2 pi. So using this formula we can write this as cosine of 2 pi plus I sin 2 pi, and cos 2 pi is 1, sin 2 pi is 0. So this is 1 plus 0I, that is 1, and we have e raised to z. So what we have shown, that if we consider e raised to z plus 2 pi I, then it is equal to e raised to z for all z. Therefore we can say that we have a constant 2 pi I such that this property is satisfied, f of z plus p equal to f of z. If you are not clear directly, then you can consider f of z equal to e raised to z, and what we have shown, f of z plus 2 pi I, that is e raised to z plus 2 pi I, because f of z is e raised to z, and this we have shown that it is equal to e raised to z, and that is nothing but f of z. So we have shown that f of z plus 2 pi I equal to f of z for all z. F of z plus 2 pi I is e raised to z plus 2 pi I, and f of z is e raised to z. So therefore we have shown that e raised to z is a periodic function of period 2 pi I. So this is also easy property. To prove this property, we have used this property of exponential function and this Euler's formula and definition of periodic function. So remember, this is very important property, and it is not similar to the real exponential function. Real exponential function is not periodic, but complex exponential function is a periodic function. In the next property, we require the definition of absolute value of z and argument of z, that we have discussed in lecture number 1 also. We just recall those definitions. If z is x plus iy, then absolute value of z is given by square root of x square plus y square, and argument of z is nothing but angle made by this complex number with positive x axis, and it is given by theta. And if we have theta as the argument of z, then we can prove that theta plus 2n pi for n belongs to z is also an argument of z, that we have discussed in lecture number 1. So we should be familiar with these two terminology or definitions, and we have discussed about polar form also. If we have z equal to x plus iy, then we can write it in polar form using polar coordinates r and theta. R is nothing but absolute value of z, and theta is nothing but argument of z. So polar form of z, as we have discussed in lecture number 1, is r times cos theta plus I sin theta. So whenever we write z equal to r into cos theta plus I sin theta, then r is nothing but absolute value of z, and this theta is one value of argument of z. So here I have to prove that if z is x plus iy, then absolute value of e raised to z is e raised to x, and argument of e raised to z is y plus or minus 2n pi. Now we know that if z is x plus iy, then by definition of exponential function, e raised to z is e raised to x times cos y plus I sin y. Now if you compare this with this polar form of complex number, we know that z equal to r into cos theta plus I sin theta is polar form of complex variable z. So if we compare with this, you can see that r is nothing but e raised to x, and r is absolute value of z, and theta is nothing but y. So therefore we can write that r equal to absolute value of e raised to z, and it is nothing but e raised to x, and argument of e raised to z is this angle plus 2n pi, or if we consider plus or minus 2n pi, then we will write only 0 and positive integers, or we can write in this way also, y plus 2n pi n belongs to z. And if we wish, we can prove by definition also. If I want to prove that absolute value of e raised to z is e raised to x, then here I know that real part of e raised to z is e raised to x cos y, so I can take square of e raised to x cos y. Imaginary part of e raised to z is e raised to x sin y, so square of e raised to x sin y. And if we consider e raised to x square common, then we are left with cos square y plus sin square y, and this is always 1, and square root of square is e raised to x. So this is another way of proving that absolute value of e raised to z is e raised to x, that is r. And this is directly clear from this. If we compare this with polar form, then we find that r is equal to e raised to x, and argument of e raised to z is this angle plus 2n pi, where n belongs to z. So these are the simple properties of exponential function, and we have proved those properties. If we recall the properties of e raised to z, then we know that e raised to z is entire function, and we have proved these properties. E raised to z1 plus z2 is e raised to z1 times e raised to z2. Then we have shown that e raised to z1 minus z2 is e raised to z1 divided by e raised to z2. We also proved that if we have e raised to minus z, then we have 1 upon e raised to z, and we have shown that e raised to 0 is 1. And we also proved that e raised to z is periodic function of period 2 pi I, and we now familiar with argument of e raised to z is y plus 2n pi, and absolute value of e raised to z is e raised to x. And we know that e raised to x is non-zero or positive always, so absolute value of e raised to z is never 0. So we have an entire function that is having non-zero absolute value for all z. So we can write that remark also, that absolute value of e raised to z is always greater than 0 for all z. Therefore absolute value of e raised to z is always positive, and hence we have an entire function that never vanishes. We know that e raised to z is analytic everywhere, therefore it is entire function, and its absolute value is always positive, or we can say that entire function never vanishes. So these are the properties of exponential function. They can ask you to prove the properties also, and we have seen that very easy proofs are there for all the properties. So this is all about this session. We will continue with these elementary functions in upcoming lectures. Thanks for watching.